Nick and I met 20 years ago when we were 19 years old, and this year is a year that I'll never forget, and I'm sure we've all had a year like that you'll never forget, and for me this is one of those years. But we also had a moment in our life, like Dane and Mel, and for us that moment was 9 years ago on September 6, 2003, when our paths changed direction.
So our paths changed direction about that time, and I'll share with you all a bit of a quick story about how we came up with the name No Regrets, because the name of the business sort of sums up what happened at that time. At that time I was working as with a multinational company, 50, 60 hours a week, doing very well, getting promoted every year, earning lots of money, but I actually hated the job. I couldn't stand it. I didn't even want to be promoted. Kept getting promoted into jobs that I hated. And anyway, I tried to not get promoted. And anyway, I was at a work function at my boss's house, and because I was so stressed and a number of different factors, but anyway, I passed out and fell back and hit my head on a slate floor, and I fractured my skull at the time, and I was rushed to hospital, and I spent the next 6 days in hospital, and they were running heaps of tests on me, thought I was going to have a brain hemorrhage, and as it turned out I didn't, but at that point in time is when you have that moment where you sort of think, well, and I remember coming home, I remember the day I got home and I sat outside in the sun with my dog looking around and just think, you know, what the hell am I doing with my life? I hate what I'm doing. I'm just doing something that's shit, and I'm sorry my French, pardon, there's a Rickism. And I needed to move on, and I needed to do something that I was passionate about, which was sports. I was always good at sports. So from that day on, I said, and I had a lot of regrets in my life. I had opportunities to play sports at a high level, and I didn't take them up because I thought it was too risky, and I had family. So a lot of the stories that you heard today, I don't actually talk to my family that much anymore either, because they're too negative and they'll hold me back. So I don't actually have anything to do with my mum and dad anymore. And so I had to make some tough choices. And that was how I came up with the name No Regrets. I wasn't even in a personal training capacity at all. I had to look to get into that. So that's where I started setting my dreams and vision. So way back then I was writing down goals and visions, and I actually write my goals as if they've happened. And if you ever come to my house, you'll see posters up around the place saying it's now 2013 and I'm doing this, and I'm really enjoying the fact. So on my wall at the moment says it's 2012 and I'm on stage at the Member of the Year presentation. I wrote that last year. I wasn't even a VIP or anything at that point. So I sort of like, and Melissa along the way has supported me with a lot of these things, and I had to try and, because it was my vision at that time and she had something different, but as time's gone along she's really progressed into a completely different person herself. So anyway, moving forward quickly, oh, by the way, I can't smell or taste, so as a side effect of when I was knocked out, I lost all the sensation of being able to smell, and I can't taste food. So if you drop a fart or anything, it doesn't worry me. All right. So then I spent about a few years developing my skills as a trainer, because I just wanted to learn everything and anything. I did every single course. I became really good at all that through the C.H.E.K system. I've gone right through all the different levels of that. And then about 12 months ago, I said, you know, like we really need to. It wasn't enough, because what I was doing was good fun, but I wanted more. It wasn't in my vision from what I sent, but I had to bring myself back into what I was doing, and it's like, you know what, I'm really missing something. It's not my purpose. I'm having fun, but it's not my purpose. I want to have, there's more to this than that. And part of it involved Mel. I wanted to have, and part of my vision involved her being with me side by side, doing something that, you know, makes a difference in people's lives. So, you know, things were great. We knew we won our award, the Rookie of the Year last year, but, you know, we knew we had to do one more big thing, and that was find our own studio. So to quote Sean Greeley, last year he just said to me, like, rip off the Band-Aid and grow some balls. And that's exactly what we did. So from the day after we won the Rookie of the Year, I signed up to the VIP. I was still in a gym, like as a contractor with subcontractors. I couldn't even employ any of the VIP things. And I thought I'll just get a facility, easy as pie. And that's when everything went up, you know, full circle, because it wasn't as easy as we thought. And to get into a premises absolutely busted our butt, like dead set. Like we couldn't even get to look at one. Real estate agents, when they found out we were personal trainers, wouldn't even give us a look at a site, all because of council permits. And we ended up finding one, but, you know, all our bargaining power was taken away. We had to pay up front for the rent, or the guy was going to still leave it on the market. We had applied for a council permits that were non-refundable, could take as long as 6 months. Still paying rent at the other gym. I'm paying $3,000 a month there. I'm just handing out money left, right and centre. I'm still just doing what I'm doing, and it's at the quietest time of the year in January. My subcontracted trainers were off work, and everything just looked like crap. But I'd never thought I was going to fail. Stupid as it sounds, I just thought, and maybe Rick, I would probably vented at him a bit on the calls and that, and he thought I was probably, but after that I'd always bring myself back and say, look, you know what, I remember that time when I hit my head and it could have all been over. So, like, this is nothing. Like, as much as I'm stuffing up and everything seems going wrong, awesome, I don't care, this is life. This is what I'm here for. I'm here to live, and as much as there's good things, there's going to be bad things, but they're all good. It's just how you perceive them. And that's when we started to really, you know, and that's when we found our studio. So, like, everything was fine. So all of my clients, I was expecting to have 50% of them follow us, and as it turned out, nearly all of them followed us. Straight away hired an admin, hired a new staff member, and then we started to apply reverse engineering. So last year I was on the table with Selena when she won the Member of the Year, and I was thinking, okay, look, how would Selena think? What would she be doing? What would Mark Seymour? All these guys, what's Julian doing? All these guys that are really kicking ass already, how do they think? What do they do in their business? What systems, what tools do they have? And I started just investing in things, even though I couldn't really afford them. I thought, stuff it, these guys have it. They're a successful business. I'm going to be a successful. I'm going to think and do everything like a successful business would operate. So revenue, this gives you, although it's not apples with apples, because I was in contracting into another gym, it gives you an idea, even with the stuff up, and we really didn't get started until 1st of March. Those first couple of months, we were just really nothing. So this is really from March on. So far we've done 238. I was predicting to do 250 on a good year. We'll probably just fall under 300. Maybe sneak over if we're lucky. Net profit's been down, but we bought a lot of equipment, and plus all that's accounting all that money that we spent at the start of the year. And last month we were averaging about 20, 25 for most months. Last month we did 35. So all the stuff that we were mucking around with for months is starting to pay off for us. So total contacts, new leads. And it's funny because I always say to Rick, our marketing sucks. We never really do anything well. What are we not doing that the others are doing? I never really seem to have anything that's just winning. But when you look at all the numbers, it's a little like, well, they must be drip feeding from everywhere. And he always says to me, look, Nick, don't worry. The guys who have one big marketing campaign, they'll tend to just rely on that. And they'll just keep doing it over and over, and they'll not look at the other things, where I'm just sort of like throwing the kitchen sink at everything. Probably the biggest thing we have to do is like get myself out of the business, and we recognise that. But in terms of the systems, we haven't got. I really feel like I've done it's been nowhere near as good as what we should have done, but the results are still looking okay. So if I had done it to the level that we should have done, then these would be smashed out of the water. And I know it can be done because there's people in the room here that are doing it. So what did work well for us? Body balance challenge. And Mel's qualified in nutrition with NPE and metabolic typing, plus through C.H.E.K certifications. So she runs all of that, which means we don't pay any wages out to anyone. So it's been a big winner for us. Raise the rates. We didn't get a massive cash flow, and I was spewing because I was seeing all these people getting all this stuff. But at the same time, it meant everyone was just going to be paying me a higher rate. So whoopee, I was happy with it. YBB, we signed up 36 in 1 week. Facebook, yeah, we did some aggressive stuff with that. I can't stand Facebook. I despise it. My password's I hate Facebook, by the way. But having said that, only recently, we've been generating, because of the 10,000 fans that we have, we've been getting a lead every day through the website, and probably converting about 80% of them, and they're pretty much ringing me saying, I want to start 3 sessions a week. How do I pay? I haven't even told them what the price is. And this is just recently, by the way. So that's been going gangbusters for us. So that was something that I'd been working on for months and saw nothing for it. Thought, what a waste of time. And now it's starting to pay off.
At spring training, I pulled Andre aside in one of the breaks and I said, I need to talk to you without Nick being around. I was still working in another job, which I'd had for the last 18 years, and I said, I don't feel like I'm a part of the business. I feel like I've got all this pressure on me to have a full-time role in the business, but I was only there 3 days a week. So Andre said, Mel, you need to set a plan. You need to show Nick what you can do in those extra 2 days, and then you need to set a date and finish up at that job. And the date was that I'd be finished by this weekend. And I started full-time in the role at the start of October. So I just wanted to say thanks to Andre for that.
And we changed all our organisation structure to reflect that. So we completely rebuilt all of how we had a whole team planning day that we devoted to that, which really created a good culture within our business. So some of the biggest lessons, and a few of the guys have said this throughout the weekend and tonight, and the biggest one is you're responsible. So you can't blame anyone but yourself. If anything goes wrong, we know we either didn't teach someone properly or we didn't have a system in place to do it. So once we acknowledge that, and we still do, and there's always going to be stuff up, so we just make the change. Action, action, action. Stop, and I'm a bit the other guys get a bit angry with me, I'm a little bit like Sean. I'll probably have the bulldozer approach, probably try and just smash through things, just get it out there, because sometimes it's not right, but stiffs. I just want to get it out there and do stuff. Several poles in the pond. Strong leadership, that's one thing I really, for myself this year, and and that's something I need to work on a bit more. And a lot of the other things there, and the quote down the bottom, that's one thing that we really sort of found a lot this year as well. So finally, and Mel said that before, there's no mistakes, there's only lessons. And like Thomas Edison, he failed 1,000 times. I've failed probably more than that, but I don't care. I reckon it's great. Every time I fail, I think I'm one step closer because there's one less mistake to make. It's awesome. And the best thing is I love what I do. And I love the fact that I'm working with my wife, doing what it is we love to do. And I don't feel like it's work. And I'm sure everyone in the room would love to have a job that's like that. At times it stresses me out, but I always bring myself back to that day when it could have all been over and I wouldn't have had anything. So it's how you perceive the stress that changes the way that you sort of get out of it, and that's how we live our life with no regrets as such.
I remember when Nick fractured his skull, I was with him, and I remember the noise his skull made at the time. And 4 weeks later, I came home from work, and he said to me, I'm quitting my job and I'm becoming a personal trainer, and I thought he really had lost his mind. And he showed me, he had this 10-year plan, and here we are, year 9 into that 10-year plan, and thanks to Rick and Andre, Sean, and all of the other members, we've actually set our goals higher and our dreams bigger now, and we get to live our dream, we get to live this journey together. And like Nick said, we don't care if we make mistakes because that's how we learn from it and that's how we move on. And I wouldn't swap it for anything else. I get to do it with my best friend, and I know one day we'll be older, maybe in our 60s or 70s, and we can look back and we can know that we've got no regrets, and we live by that name every day. We live with no regrets. So thanks, everyone.
You can keep up with NPE TV through Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, so that you can stay connected wherever your travels may take you.